Welcome everybody, this is MDawg, and we are playing Escape from Tarkov. I've been playing this game for a few days now, actually probably, I'm just going to guess 2 to 3 weeks now. And have gotten pretty far into it, but I have just now have reset my progress, which sort of takes us back to square one. And mostly why I did that, because I thought it'd be fun to start this video series. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to title this sort of Let's Play series. But I want to be clear, this is a beginner's perspective on Escape from Tarkov. I mean, I have just recently started playing, and there's still a lot I don't know, but I've been playing a lot, and so I enjoy making these videos. I make a lot of Russian Fishing 4 videos. You may have seen some of those. And again, the same kind of thing, what I enjoy doing over there is what I'm going to attempt to do here, and that is talking about the early experiences and maybe the ideal person this would be for, someone who's considering whether or not they want to purchase the game, or maybe you just enjoy watching Tarkov gameplay. I am not very good at first-person shooters, and so one of the ideas I also had was showing maybe how this game can still be fun for someone who's not a great first-person shooter, keyboard, mouse, first-person shooter player. So I still think you can have a lot of fun in this game. This game, because it is slow-paced, can be as much about being in the right position, right, and at the right time as it is about sort of Twitch gameplay. So those are some reasons why I decided to start this series. And let me just go ahead and say, in this first episode, I'm literally just going to talk about the first time you log in. If you do purchase the game, the first time you log into your account, I'm going to show you sort of what's in your stash and talk about the different editions that you can get. And this will be the prologue. Episode 1 will be our actual first raid, I suppose. But this will be kind of be the prologue here. So when you first get in, the only thing I've done is selected English language, and I selected, I guess it's called USEC. You can choose between Bear and USEC. I don't think that matters at all. It may be that if you choose Bear, when you use voice commands, you'll have a Russian voice versus USEC. I think you speak in English, but that might be the only difference. So let's talk about what we've got here. We've got Escape from Tarkov, which is going to take you to the portal, which actually allows you to start playing the game. And let's quickly just, some of this will become clear as you see it. If you've never seen this game played before, well, I hope you enjoy seeing it, and just know that there are a lot of streamers and YouTube content creators who are very good at this game. If you're trying to look for high-level gameplay, look elsewhere. But when you do play, your main character is your PMC. That's your main character, and that's, in terms of leveling, most quests or tasks that you do, you have to do as your main player. That's not always true, but for the most part. And sort of the progression. There's lots of skills. There's lots of progression in the game, which is part of what makes it so fun. And that's what you have to do on your PMC, your main player. But every 20 minutes, I think, is the current cooldown. And I should mention, by the way, this is a what is it? Battle State Games, I think, is the maker of Escape from Tarkov. This game isn't in beta still, I believe, is what they're calling where the game's progress is, like closed beta. I mean, you have to pre-purchase the game to actually get access. As far as I know, there are different editions you can pre-purchase, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But the other thing you can do is do a scav or scavenger run. Now, the risk reward, that some of the sort of fun in this game is that anything you take into the raid, and you're going to be going on these individual raids on your main character, anything you take in there potentially can be lost. There's an exception. You've got a small container that, whatever you put in that container you can bring out. But for the most part, your gear and everything can be lost in the raid. So the advantage of these scavenger runs is you are not using your own stuff. You're playing as a random character, a scavenger, and whatever gear, it's random. You get whatever gear you start off with. You can see our first scavenger run is going to have a pistol, so good luck with that. And yeah, so if you do manage to finish the raid or extract from the raid, which is the objective of each raid you do, then whatever you have on you as a scavenger, you get to keep. So you're not risking anything, and you may actually get to keep stuff. The downside is you don't get to choose what gear you go in with. You tend to be a lot weaker. But there's some other advantages too that we'll talk about once we're actually doing scavenger runs, in terms of the other scavengers on the map are friendly to you and all that. So back to the main screen. That's if you hit escape from Tarkov. Those are your sort of your options there. I should mention that if you do go to the next screen, you're choosing which map you want to run, which right now there are what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps available currently. 6 of them for PMCs, one of them is not. I'm sorry, 7 of them for PMCs. One of them you can't run as scavenger, I don't think, as the lab. I haven't even played all the maps yet. That'll show you what a beginner I am. And in fact, in this video series, I would say for a while, the maps that we'll be looking at are customs, factory, a little bit of woods, and a little bit of shoreline. And we'll talk more about the reason why we choose the maps that we do as we go on. So the next screen you can go to is your character. Up at the top, let's start on the left-hand side. This is going to tell you all your stats. This shows your current gear you have on. This is what you're going to take into your raid. And you can see our pouch. We have a Gamma container, and that is because we have pre-ordered the Edge of Darkness Limited Edition, which is the highest level edition you can pre-order. And based on what you pre-order affects some of your what pouch you start off with, some of the gear and stuff you start off with in your stash, also how large your stash is. So again, we'll continue to talk about the additions, but so this is what we have on, and you can move stuff from over here to over, to on your player to decide what you want to take into that first raid. We also have our health. This will become important between runs. One of the things about Escape from Tarkov is that it is pretty, it can be a pretty harsh game. After you die, and believe me, you're going to die a lot. I'm going to die even more than you are, but we're going to die a lot, right? And after you die, your health will have to regenerate, or you can heal, which is a resource. You're using something that costs money to heal yourself. And you also have to watch your water level and food level. I don't really pay attention to the other ones so much, but maybe you do have to. I don't know. But then you also have your skills tab. Look at all of these different skills, and you'll be leveling these up as you play. There's some things you can do to, I guess, try to intentionally do that. Maybe some things like if you have real cheap ammo, maybe just shoot off all the ammo before you extract. Maybe that helps level up shooting a little faster. I don't know. But you've got a ton of skills. Mostly these are just going to slowly level up as you play, right? And then you've got mastering. As you start using different weapons, you'll start even leveling up the different weapons. And all of these things give you benefits. There's all perks and benefits. We don't have any maps in our inventory, which we'll talk about maps. Actually, let's talk about that right now. So one of the things, oh, and by the way, there's tasks, which we don't have any active tasks. We're going to go accept tasks here in just a minute. But let me tab out real quick and just show you something here. If you have a second monitor or a third monitor, or if you have a tablet or something, you're going to want a second screen if you're brand new to this game. And I'm going to do EFT Maps, so Escape from Tarkov Maps. If you type that into Google, some helpful things are going to come up. And I actually really like using this on gamemaps.co.uk. I'm not going to link it for you or anything. Literally just go into Google and type EFT space maps. You can find it. And these are going to be all the maps that we currently have. There are also some stuff to click on down here in quests, items to keep. I mean, if you want to go really sort of from the beginning, get really deep, you can start thinking about items you need to save for future quests. I'm not going to worry about that a whole lot in this series unless I know the quest is coming up fairly soon. And even then, I haven't done it enough. I'll probably forget, so we'll see. But, so I mentioned some of the maps we're going to do early on. Customs is definitely the one that I know the best. And so if you click on this, I like this one. Each map has several different options. Just kind of find one that you like using. But I like this one here. And so you just bring up a map of customs. You're going to want to put this on your other monitor while you're playing, especially when you're new. And you want to kind of look at the different extraction points. So like I know over here, if you're playing as your own character, not as a scav, but your own character, a lot of times you're going to get the extraction point of either Crossroads or Trailer Park, which are over here in the southwest part of the map. Or if you spawn over here, you're going to end up with the extraction point of, a lot of times it's ZB 1011, which is down here in the southeast part of the map. And then there's a lot of other scav extraction points as well. So if you're playing as a player scavenger, then it might give you sniper roadblock, or it might give you military checkpoint. I feel like I get that one a lot. Passage between the rocks. And when we're actually doing raids, we'll look at how it tells you. There's always at least one extraction that's 100% you can take. And then there's some question mark ones, and those can either, they may be available, they may not be. And it also is, sometimes those require you to have a certain amount of money or other requirements to get out of those extractions. But this is the customs map, and it's a good idea to take a look at it before you start, especially with extraction points. But honestly, you're just going to have to get in there and start seeing landmarks. And you'll learn it before you know it. I'm terrible at maps, so if I can learn it, which, if I'm getting there, then you certainly can. So we'll close that out, but that's going to be really important in terms of maps. Okay, what else do we need to look at? Let's don't go deep into the inventory yet. Let's look at the other things. Trading is going to be really important. You're going to be using this a lot. At level 5, we can go into the flea market. I forgot about that. So for the first 5 levels, we're going to be stuck with gear that we find, or that we already have, or that we can get from the traders. Honestly, I forgot about that. I'm so dependent on the flea market now. That's going to really change things. But each of these traders, it's worth you clicking on them. And you see that there's a lot of things that are blacked out that are basically like undiscovered items. And first of all, you can right click and do examine, or you can just push in your middle mouse button, and that's sort of the faster way to do it. And I'm going to advise that if you don't want to be stuck with constantly having to examine things once you are in a raid and you're trying to figure out like what is what, and some things you can't move into your inventory until you examine them, like a gun. I think the game will not allow you to move a gun unless you actually know what it is, but I could be wrong on that. So anyway, I'm going to recommend you go through all of the traders and go ahead and discover all their items. But this is Praypor. You've got one tab that says buy. So we could go over here and say, well, I really like this. You can inspect it. I like this LPS GZH ammo. And this actually, I think, is a pretty decent early ammo, if I'm remembering correctly, for the Mosin. So you could click on that, and it's going to cost you 179 rubles, which we have 400,000 because of the edition we have. It's going to cost you 179 rubles, so you click how many you want. I don't know. 10 of them is going to cost us 1,789 rubles. So you can do that. So that's how you purchase stuff. You click on sell. You can then sell things to Praypor. Now, one thing to notice is we need to level these traders up, because the higher level we get them, like when we get him to level 2, this is going to become unlocked. We're going to have access to even more gear, level 3, and so on. And that's true. Oh, my mouse is like not working. Okay, that's not going to be good, especially when we're in the game. And so that's going to be really important, leveling them up. And you can level them up by spending money. For Praypor, we need to be level 15 ourselves. Our player level will unlock his level 2. But we also need to have spent 1,000,000 rubles, which is easier than it sounds, because both buying and selling things to him counts towards that. So it'll basically happen naturally, but there will be sort of a strategy on what we want to sell to whom as we go. But one thing I want to, as we're clicking through these traders, we want to see if any of them have any tasks. Well, Praypor does. It says debut, so let's accept that and see what we have to do. We've got to kill 5 scavs at customs and hand over 2 MP133 shotguns. So the kill 5 scavs at customs, that's something we'll start working on in our first raid that we run. We'll probably do customs first. We might even just start off with a pistol and try to do a pistol run, see if we can get lucky. Probably won't be able to. I'm pretty terrible, but we might try that, or we might go in with a rifle. We'll see. The problem is we probably won't have any armor on, so I'm not sure if it's worth using an actual gun with much value. We may just do a pistol run and see how it goes. Kind of show you some strategies with pistol runs, at least that I've thought of. And then we got to hand over the 2 shotguns, which means we need to find those shotguns, but we also can purchase them. I'm not sure if there's a trader that sells them. If there is, we'll purchase them from the trader. If there's not, once we hit level 5 and get the flea market, we can do it through the flea market. So one way or another, we'll get those shotguns and turn them in. When we complete the task, we're going to get 600 EXP. We're going to get reputation with Praypor. We're going to get a pistol, 3 mags, 5,000 rubles, and we're also going to have the ability to buy the AKS 74U from Praper. I know I'm going slow here, guys. I apologize. We will not spend too much time outside of raids once the prologue episode is over. Let's go ahead and click on the therapist, and she's going to have a lot of important items. Again, I will try to highlight certain items when we're doing some of the early raids. A lot of what we're discovering right now are maps. Don't use the in-game maps. In my opinion, they're terrible. Just try to find a way to have a second screen up or tablet or phone or something. The maps outside of game are so much better. But a lot of these items are really important in terms of managing your health, hunger, and hydration. So that's going to be really important. Task-wise, she has something called shortage. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. We're going to accept that. And we need to find 5 Salawa kits. Well, it looks like we actually have one in our inventory already. So we could go ahead and turn that in if we want to. We won't do that right now, but we probably will end up turning that in instead of using it. So now we have 2 early tasks. This is Fence. It's just kind of this no-name person. I think what happens, and somebody that knows more about this game can correct me if I'm wrong, but Fence's inventory is constantly changing. I think what's happening is this may actually be other players sell things to Fence, and then they show up globally, or they can show up. Let's see. If we click on just armor vests. All right, let's go ahead and discover these real quick. All right, so we've got 6 armor vests. They're varying prices and strengths. And then if we go back and click on him again, let's go to armor vest again. Let's see if it's still the same one. Now there's a whole different list of them. So his inventory is constantly changing, at least to the point that I've gotten. Fence has never had a task for me as well. And I'm not even sure, you can't level up Fence either. So Fence is a little bit of a different fellow there instead of the other traders. So here's Skier. And again, let's see if Skier has any tasks for us. Skier does not. Peacekeeper. Now, one thing that's interesting about Peacekeeper is he deals in dollars. The other traders, for the most part, are going to often deal in rubles, but Peacekeeper does deal in dollars. He does not have an early task for us. Mechanic, no task. And Ragman, no task. So just as a general rule, and I'll say this real quick, early on, what I like to do is sell the core of the gun to Mechanic. The weapon mods, any that Skier will purchase, I like to sell to Skier. Any of your gear, your backpacks, your scav vests, basically clothy things, I like to sell to Ragman, or armor, And Ragman was one of the ones that I had to really focus on to try to level up. So I think if you start from the beginning, making sure you're selling stuff that Ragman will buy to Ragman, then that might help you down the line. Mostly you need rubles, at least early in the game, so I don't sell a lot to Peacekeeper. Therapist will purchase all your food and medical supplies, those sorts of things. And basically anything else that isn't purchased by those 4, which frankly is a lot of stuff, I then sell to Praper. You're also going to be buying stuff from Praper early on, so you'll level up Praper pretty easily. I think he was the one that leveled up the most quickly for me in terms of like money purchased and spent, or purchased and sold through Praper. Okay, so those are your traders. You also have a hideout in this game. Because this game is in early access, I think we're still getting wipes. So what I just did to myself, which was reset my progress, everyone's going to have that happen, at least until the game gets to a certain point in development. Someone in stream was telling me that the rumor on the street is that the next wipe may come in March, but we'll see. I don't think that's confirmed. Now, there's a lot of things you can purchase and construct. Some of the early stuff just takes rubles to make it. And we're not going to focus on the hideout. We probably will do the basics because the early stuff is so easy to do. And there is some advantages. I mean, later in game, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do in the hideout. I haven't gotten to a lot of that. Even on my account before I reset it, I hadn't gotten to too much. But some of this stuff that lets like health regeneration happen faster, so you have less downtime between runs, like that's really helpful. So that's worth the investment to do that. There's some other things too. I think there's like a nutrition center. Same thing. Your energy regeneration rate will go up. Water collector, that's going to allow your hydration regeneration to go up faster. So there's some things that are definitely worth doing. We want to do workbench because it allows us to see off-raid full weapon customization. It's really cool when you can look at the full customization of the weapon. So again, I don't think the hideout's going to be the focus. Eventually, when the game stops getting reset, then of course you're going to want to level up all your hideout options, and hopefully that the hideout will continue to get more and more complex and cool. But for now, we probably won't spend a lot of time doing that. Okay, the last thing let's do is let's just quickly look through our stash. I mentioned that we got the Edge of Darkness limited edition. And by the way, you can, see I'm stacking the money here. You can upgrade your edition. So if you just want to see if you like the game, you can purchase the least expensive pre-order of the game. And if you really get into it, it may be worth it to you to go ahead and get the Edge of Darkness. The Edge of Darkness is the only pre-order that says it's a limited edition. Now, it comes with a larger stash. And I'd have to look through. I think every edition does include a higher level stash. Like if you get the standard, you're getting 10 by 26 cells. The Left Behind edition goes 10 by 36. The Prepare for Escape edition goes 10 by 46. Edge of Darkness is the largest at a 10 by 66 level stash. You also start off with good standing with all the in-game traders. I'm not sure. Let me see if that's unique to this. No, that's not unique to this edition. That starts at the Prepare for Escape edition. So a little less work on grinding rep with the traders, I guess is what that means. And you also, this is basically like a season pass deal. This is the edition that gives you free access to all subsequent DLCs. So it's like a season pass. Okay, so according to what edition you get, you may have different equipment. I mean, you will. I mean, this has got the most equipment. And I'm not going to go into what all of these things are. One thing that's worth noting as we get into the Tetris gameplay is that you can stack bags and such. Are those the only bags we have? I think they are. And then within the bags, you could put, you can put other things, whatever you've got room for. And I'm going to take that back out because for now we're good on space. And now this is a case. So one thing you're going to want to upgrade when you can is one thing you want to do with your stash is buy cases. And I'm actually going to show you some here in just a minute. But this is specifically a pistol case. So like the only thing we can put in here are going to be, well, I'm surprised these magazines fit. I guess you learn something new every day. But most things are going to be incompatible in here. Even though they technically would fit, these items don't work. But our pistols should all be fine. The pistol magazines are fine. The pistol ammo is fine. I was trying to see if we have any, we don't, any rifle ammo. I was going to test to see if other types of ammo would go in there. But, so that's how cases work. You can actually open them up. So if you look at this case, it's taking up 4 squares, right? 2 by 2. But inside of it, you see you've got 4 by 3. So that's how you can keep a lot more stuff and keep stuff organized just with cases. The way cases work in this game are really cool. A lot of them are really expensive. One way you can get cases. So anyway, this is the stuff that comes with the edition that we have. I'm not going to sit here and start arranging inventory and all that in this episode and bore you with that. We actually will end up, I don't know if we'll sell any of this. We may just run with these pistols. I mean, I'm going to die a lot, so we may just start off trying to see what we can do with a few pistols. On my first playthrough, on my main sort of playthrough, what I've just reset, I quickly realized that I was making plenty of money, especially with scav runs being a part of the mix, where I didn't have to suffer through just doing pistol runs. So I sold a lot of junk that I knew I wasn't going to want to use, and I just really started to focus on a certain loadout. And we'll try to do that pretty early in our video series as well. We'll pick a gun, probably, I don't know what we'll pick, but we'll pick a couple of guns and we'll just basically keep those and use the same loadout on most runs, and then we'll just try to vary it up every once in a while. But right now, and I think it was a part of like a holiday celebration, if you have pre-ordered the game, or if you do pre-order the game, you have an in-game gift. And you get that gift by going to your profile through their website. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the profile, you can click on Receive Gift. Now, I don't know how long that is going to still be active, but it's active right now. And so I've put all of that down here at the bottom of my stash because I wanted to be able to distinguish to you between what came with the edition that I purchased versus what came from the holiday gift. And these are all things you can get in game, but frankly, to be able to get them at a low level like I have been, and of course now that I've reset, I especially am really low level. Now we're not going to use this. I mean, this is a really sweet gun. I can't look at this because we haven't unlocked that in the hideout, but this is a nice weapon that at my skill level would be a waste, especially without armor and all that. So. But what's really nice are these cases. So this case is taking up 4x4, but it opens up in, it looks like 8x8. Yeah, 8x8. And you can put any kind of items in here, right? This is a med case. So again, the M case is actually for money. So you'll get both rubles, euros, and dollars, as well as some other like coins and stuff that are worth keeping, and those can all fit in that case. The gift also came with a pistol, and then these are the magazines for the P90 and lots of ammo. So but your holiday gift also changes based on what edition of the pre-order you have. So I specifically got these things because I have the Edge of Darkness limited edition. Okay, that is enough of a prologue. If I don't know, I'll probably will have the first episode up later tonight, but I'll go ahead and upload this prologue pretty soon. If you are looking forward to this series, please let me know if you have any questions or requests. There are so many people out there that have played a lot more Tarkov than I have, and so you're gonna inevitably see tons of weird choices and mistakes I make. I'm not a super I don't have a ton of knowledge about firearms, and so there's things that like I don't understand, and so there's going to be lots of things that I say or do that you may know is a not the right way to approach it. But part of the point of this series is to say that even someone like me who's, first of all, not very skilled at this type of gaming, and second of all, I don't really have the sort of military history background with firearms and all that kind of stuff to even know what some of the things are in the game. Like, there's still a lot of fun to be had. This is just a really solid, fun game. So that's enough of me going on and on. I hope that this has been helpful just to kind of show you what this edition is like, and also talk through some of the things that I recommend you sort of think through and do when you first log into the game. But mostly, of course, what you want to do is just get in there and start playing, and that's what I would encourage you to do. When someone first starts playing this game, I feel like you have this fear of losing your stuff. The faster you can get over that fear. Now, I mean, I'm not going to go taking in a gun that I just know is worth more than I just don't feel like I'm at a place where I should use this gun. Now, maybe later in the series we will, but try not to worry about losing your stuff. You're going to get better and better at it. You're going to get more and more familiar with the maps, and you're going to suddenly sort of cross this hill where you start having more and more successful extractions, and you're going to make plenty of money. And part of how you have to get there is by experimenting with gear, because when you completely gimp yourself by just going in with a pistol, your chance of survival, if you happen to run into another real player, is not much more than, well, it just depends. I mean, you may get a really nice headshot and you might do it, but you certainly are at a great disadvantage. So try to get over that. Just enjoy the game. Scav runs are, you're not risking anything. So whenever your scav run cooldown is up, when you first start playing this game, and that's what I did when I first started playing, every time scav was available, I would run it, because that was just more information I was getting about the map, and I slowly would start to have successful extractions, and that meant that I was pumping more resources into the system, so it was good. Okay, as always, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to really getting this series going in just a little while. Thanks again.